If you only have one day in Mumbai, you can still see a lot of the city's major sights. During my short stay in Mumbai, I based myself in the Colaba area and spent a full day exploring some of the city's best-known landmarks. Those included the Gateway of India, Dhobi Ghat, Marine Drive, Hanging Gardens, Crawford Market, and the famous Terminus train station. In this video, I'll show you exactly how I spent one day in Mumbai as a first-time visitor, and whether I think one day was enough. Hello everyone, Buzz here from Buzzing Around the World. I'm in Mumbai, India. It's my 52nd country and my first time in India. This is my first full day. I'm going to take a Mumbai city tour. You can see it's a little bit smoggy, but not quite as bad as it was yesterday. This is the view from my hotel. My tour officially started at 10 a.m., but I left my hotel around 8:30 in the morning so I could spend a little more time exploring South Mumbai. I walked around the area near the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel and the Gateway of India. I also wandered a little further to Regal Circle, where I photographed various statues, one of India's history museums, and a replica of an Indian aircraft carrier. When it was finally time to meet my guide, I realized I was the only guest on the tour that day. What I expected to be a group tour ended up feeling more like a private one, which made the day easier and more efficient. Our first stop was Dhobi Ghat, one of the most unusual places I visited in Mumbai. Dhobi Ghat is a huge open-air laundry facility where clothes and linens are washed and dried on a massive scale. My guide introduced me to an 11-year-old boy who showed me around and even led me up to the rooftop of his home, where I got a much better view of the whole operation. From above, I could see long rows of laundry hanging to dry and workers moving through the wash area below. My young guide even put me to work for a moment by showing me how hotel towels were hung on a twisted rope. This was one of the most memorable stops of the day because it felt less like a typical tourist attraction and more like getting a glimpse into everyday life in Mumbai. From Dhobi Ghat, we continued to Oval Maiden, where a cricket game was already underway. Watching a match take place in such a large open field, surrounded by historic buildings, was a nice contrast to the crowded streets and traffic I had been experiencing elsewhere in the city. Near the park, I saw the Rajabai Clock Tower and walked through part of the University of Mumbai. Next, we drove to Marine Drive, one of Mumbai's most famous waterfront roads. I had already seen Marine Drive from my airport shuttle the day before, when it was full of people out running and enjoying the morning air. This time, I got to walk along it and photograph the skyline for myself. It was quite hazy during my visit, which made photography a little difficult, but it was still easy to see why so many visitors make time for this stop. The broad curve of the road, the open waterfront, and the skyline made it one of the most visually impressive places I saw all day. After Marine Drive, we visited the Hanging Gardens. To be honest, I expected something a little more dramatic based on the name. There was not actually anything hanging about the gardens, and at first glance, they felt more like a regular city park. Still, after the noise and traffic of Mumbai, it was a pleasant stop and a nice chance to slow down for a bit. My guide also pointed out some of the high-profile residences in the area and mentioned the nearby Tower of Silence, which added another layer of history and culture to the stop. One of the most interesting stops of the day was the Gandhi Museum. The building was closely associated with Gandhi's work in Mumbai, and inside I found books, letters, photographs, and exhibits related to his life and India's independence movement. One thing that really stood out to me was how accessible the museum felt. I especially liked the diorama displays on the upper floor, which told the story of Gandhi's life in a way that was easy to follow and visually interesting. As the tour continued, we stopped at the Crawford Market. This was one of the liveliest places I saw in Mumbai. The market was packed with food, spices, beauty products, and even pets. My guide needed to buy sunscreen, so we also walked through some of the narrow streets around the market, which gave me even a better sense of the pace and chaos of shopping in the city. For me, Crawford Market was less about buying something and more about seeing the chaos and variety of the area. The final major stop of the day was the famous Terminus train station. I did not go inside, but the exterior alone was impressive enough to make it one of my favorite places I saw in Mumbai. I photographed the station from outside, along with the nearby Municipal Corporation building. The traffic in this area was also unforgettable, Watching vehicles try to move in every direction at once made me glad I was not the one behind the wheel. The final stops on the tour were the Gateway of India and the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel. I had already seen those sights on my own, so I told my guide there was no need to return there. Instead, I went to the Leopold Cafe for dinner on my guide's recommendation. After a fairly small dinner the night before, I made sure to order plenty of food this time. I had tikka masala, Chinese noodles with chicken and vegetables, naan with garlic and cheese, and a strawberry banana smoothie. By that point, it was around 5 p.m., and after 2 overnight flights and a full day of sightseeing, I was simply too exhausted to do much more. My guide had suggested going back to Marine Drive at sunset, which probably would have been a great idea, but I was just far too exhausted to make it happen. So that's my one day in Mumbai. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe. I have much more India content coming up. Until next time, this is Buzz from Buzzin' Around the World, wishing you happy travels.